everyone, and welcome along to Flight School. My name is Em, and I'm going to be introducing you to the rest of my team as we go this morning. And we're going to meet some humans and some non-humans. So I'll introduce you to everyone as we go. But just before we get started, I need a few things from you guys today. So that we can all get the most out of this encounter and keep our birds nice and safe, we need you all to stay sitting, okay? So those of you that are on our lovely benches, make sure you're sitting with your bottoms stuck to the seats. All right, you guys are going to be our forest. You're going to all be beautiful trees, and trees don't jump up and move around, all right? The reason that this is really important is that our birds pick where they're going to fly before they've even taken off. And if you suddenly stand up, you're going to end up with a mouthful of feathers. And that isn't very tasty. I don't recommend it. All right, so we're all going to stay seated. You guys at the back, you are fine to stand if the rocks aren't very comfy, but just make sure you are way back against the rock wall there so that we can keep our aisles at the sides and along the back nice and free so that we can get the birds nice and close to you all. All right, secondly, we're going to keep our hands to ourselves, all right? Arms and legs inside the vehicle. We're not going to reach out and try and touch any of the birds as they fly overhead because they might get a bit of a fright and you might get a bit of a bite, all right? So we're going to keep our hands to ourselves. And finally, if we've got any snacks, any human food, just make sure that those are covered over. Ice cream is fine, you're fine to have your ice cream, but if you've got chippies or anything like that, that might be a little bit tempting to our birds. Just make sure they are hidden away, all right? Does that all sound good? Wonderful. Alrighty guys, we're going to take you on a bit of an adventure around the world today through our little birds that you're going to meet. So we're going to start out not too far afield, just over with our neighbours in Australia. Hello. You're going to down here where you meet you. Thank you. So this, everyone, is Bo the rainbow lorikeet, and I've got Serenity helping me out with his training today. And what Bo is showing off for you all today is his very important job that he does out in the grasslands and gardens of Eastern Australia. So what Bo is doing is he's looking for nectar in the bottom of these beautiful flowers. And that's what we've got in these little syringes here. Don't worry, he's not sick. This is just the least messy way of getting this nectar into him. But what Bo does is he flies from flower to flower. So from the yellow one here, over to this white one, and as he drinks that delicious sweet nectar, his feathers are getting covered with pollen, and he carries that pollen from flower to flower, helping to cross-pollinate all of the different plants in Eastern Australia and help new plants grow. So this is a job called pollination, and it's one that lots of animals around the world do. Can you think of any other pollinators that you've seen in your gardens? Bees, absolutely. How about birds? Have we seen birds feeding from flowers? Yeah, tui, absolutely. So tui are one of our own native pollinators that we have here in Aotearoa. We also have bellbirds, also called korimako, and kaka as well. And the largest pollinator in the world is actually a species of lemur. So pollinators come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. But what we're showing off for you is how Bo drinks that delicious nectar. So I'll bring him nice and close to you guys. Have a look at his tongue. Woo. So it's very long, very freaky, and it's got little brushes, little brush bristles on the end, a little bit like a paintbrush. So that allows him to get way down into the flower and slurp up all of that delicious nectar and get a nice delicious meal. So Serenity will show you guys over there. But the reason that we have our own native pollinators here, and we don't rely on these guys, even though a few of them have found their way over here from Australia, is because they are quite small but very fierce, and groups of them can work together to scare off our own native animals away from their flowers. So we don't want you here, Bo. We're going to send you off home. You go have your lunch. See you later. And we're going to meet another little Australian friend. But we're going to go a bit bigger now, all right? You guys ready? And we're going to meet the wonderful Wally. and the excellent Evelyn. So this is Wally. He is a galah. So these birds are also called rose-breasted or pink and grey cockatoos. So this gives you a bit of a clue about what kind of parrot family these guys belong to. They are, of course, part of the cockatoo family. So they are cousins to the sulphur-crested cockatoos that you might have seen over in our Australian walkthrough. If you've seen Captain today, if you haven't seen him, he's probably hiding away inside his stump, building a lovely nest for himself. But cockatoos all have one thing in common, and that is a beautiful crest of feathers on the top of their head. And they can lift up this crest like a beautiful mohawk and make themselves look really big and scary to scare off potential predators, or to make themselves look extra handsome and impress the ladies. But that's not the only trick little Wally here has up his sleeve. Just like Captain making a beautiful nest inside his stump, we're going to show you how Wally makes his beautiful nest. So off he goes. So he's got that little hollow tree there. All cockatoos are cavity nesters, which means that they nest inside hollow trees like this one at the back here. But galahs are a bit smaller than a lot of other cockatoos. Their beak is a little bit weaker. So instead of just carving away at the inside, they collect leaves. So we've got little wooden leaves here for Wally to collect. Because if we were using real leaves, he'd never stop collecting them when autumn came. So off he goes to build his beautiful nest to impress Evelyn. Good job, Wally. Now, collecting leaves is one of the reasons that you'll find these guys down on the ground. But just like with Bo, these guys have a really important job to do. They're actually grass seed dispersers. So they will often be found down on the ground, eating all kinds of delicious grass shoots and grass seeds, and helping them spread those plants far and wide. So Wally's done a brilliant job. We're going to send him off home now. Good job, Wally. He's going to go off and have some lunch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move away from Australia, okay? So you guys all need to think really hard, use your imagination, and we're going to fly across the world out to the rainforests of South America. Are you ready? Here we go. So here is Evie. And I'm joined by Brianna, who's going to be helping me out today. And Evie is a yellow-crowned Amazon parrot. So the clue is in the name. Where do you think this kind of bird would be found? Amazon, absolutely. Not a trick question, guys. I wouldn't be that mean. But you have probably already found that Evie flies in quite a unique way. She dips down really, really low, and a few of you are probably going to have your hair rearranged by her. This is a restyling thing that we offer here free of charge. You're welcome. But the reason Evie flies the way she does is due a little bit to her shape. So she's quite round. She's shaped a little bit like an avocado with wings, we like to say. Which is not a comment on Evie as an individual. That is what all Amazon parrots are shaped like. Oh, where are you going? Decided to take a detour. Now, because of this, she has shorter wings as well, and so she has to flap them quite a lot to get going. And she has shorter wings because flying in very dense rainforest, underneath the canopy through all of those dense trees, you don't want your wings getting banged on those branches and things. So in order to get the distance that she needs to, she swoops down really, really low. She gets lots of momentum going, just like coming down a slide, and then goes way back up at the end nice and quickly. Now, Amazon parrots are in trouble for a few reasons. One of those is unfortunately due to the pet trade, because these guys have very unique songs. They've got incredible singing ability, and different individuals in different areas of the rainforest sound completely different from one another. Because again, living in very dense rainforest and having that beautiful green plumage, you end up being quite well camouflaged and hidden from each other. So you need to be able to have those beautiful contact calls to be able to keep in touch with each other. So unfortunately, this means that lots of these birds are taken from the wild into the pet trade. And so many of them are taken actually that poachers have started turning to other species that don't have that yellow crown on the top of their and actually dyeing the top of their head yellow to pass them off as these yellow crown Amazons and get a higher price for them. So not too good at all. Deforestation is another really big problem for these birds. Like I said, they live in that dense rainforest, and so people cutting down their homes is obviously a really big problem for them. But we can do a few things to help out with that, which I'll actually talk about with our next bird. But Evie's done an amazing job. I'm going to send her on home now with one last big long flight. Off she goes to Evelyn, her favourite person. And we are going to finish up with our two little superstars again in South America. And we're going to welcome out any second now. They like to build suspense. Are we coming? So this is Ra, and we should have his little friend Nina joining us shortly as well. Here we go, good job. So these two are our beautiful sun conures. So Ra has been doing this for a few years, which is why he was the first one to fly out. Nina is a little bit newer, so she's still getting the hang of it, but we'll see how we go today. But these birds, like I said, are another South American species, again found in that dense rainforest. But unlike Evie, with her beautiful green feathers, very well camouflaged, these birds are very, 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 very bright, as you can probably see, which is where that beautiful name sun conure comes from. Now, this does help them blend in with the brightly coloured fruits and flowers that they might be hiding amongst. But it has another advantage as well. So if you can imagine 20 to 30 of these birds flying together, like Ra and Nina, kind of twisting in and out of the trees and in and out of the rest of the group, they have what we call a dazzling effect. And that helps them keep themselves safe from predators, because it means that it becomes very, very tricky to pick out an individual bird. They kind of become this whirling mass of colour. Now these guys also have extremely loud contact calls to keep in touch with each other, which makes them very, very noisy pets, but quite popular pets nonetheless. They're unfortunately one of the most endangered birds that we fly here, with only between 1,000 and 3,000 individuals remaining out in the rainforests. Now this again, of course, is due to the pet trade a little bit. But just like with Evie, it's due to deforestation and habitat loss as well. But like I said, there are a couple of things that we can do right here in Aotearoa to help these birds and other animals out in the wild. So what we can do is we can do a little bit of sustainable shopping. And it's a lot easier than it sounds. Do you all buy toilet paper? Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Do you all buy books for school? Yeah. And paper towels for the kitchen, anything like that. So any wood or paper product, flip it over, have a little look at the back, and it should have a little logo on the back, the FSC logo. So it normally looks like a little tree, it might have a tick on it, and those 3 letters FSC. And it means that that product has come from a sustainable source rather than from an animal's habitat. So you can find this on heaps and heaps of products, anything that has a cardboard package around it, and of course any of those paper products that I mentioned. So that's a nice easy one for you guys to look out for. And then once you're done with those paper and cardboard products, make sure you pop them in your recycling bin as well. But you don't have to recycle your toilet paper, okay guys? Your recycling collectors will not appreciate you for that. Alrighty, I think we're going to send these little ones home. They've done an amazing job. They do work really hard, so I'm going to pop them up. Oops, no. They just want to hang out with Evelyn today. Come on. They do get quite full, so we want them to have a nice long flight back home. So pop them up there nice and high and head on home. We've got one. Hello. You coming? Good job. That's the best exit they've done in a while. So that does sadly bring us to the end of our encounter today. Do you all have a good time? Yeah? And what were those 3 letters you need to look out for at the supermarket? Can everyone remember? FSC, wonderful. You guys have learned something today. Well done. Thank you all for coming along today. We will be doing bits and pieces of training in this space throughout the day. So if you are passing by, feel free to stick your head in and say hello. If you want to have a chat with any of us or ask any questions, feel free to hang around and have a chat while we're packing up. But have an amazing rest of the day at the zoo, guys. See you later.
Go fly away.